Radio. All right, guys, I presume you can hear me. Good to have you guys here. Must admit, I am feeling healthy now. Yay! First time this year. First time this year, I feel healthy. The year's only a few days old, but at least I feel healthy for the first time. Right, okay, can you hear me, guys? Is anybody there, even? Am I talking to myself? Hi, there's everybody. Cool bananas. Hi, Anthony. You're on. How's it? Right. Let us have a look. Hello, Michael. Cheryl, do not say a word. I do not want to know what the temperature's like over there, okay? Hello, Phil. Okay. Okay, so who was on this morning? Was anyone on this morning? Was anyone on this morning? And or did they watch the recording? Did you watch the recording this morning? Or has anyone not watched the recording and was not on this morning? Let me know. Then I don't have to repeat myself. Was there anybody who did not attend this morning? You missed both, Michael, okay? Anyone else? Anyone else missed both? Okay, cool. Tony missed both. All right, so there's a couple of people who missed both, and maybe a couple of people are not going to say anything. That's okay. I'll forgive you. Just watch the recording. Okay, so you will have heard what I'm going to say now for the benefit of those who missed both. Last month we had Pogo didn't do what it normally does. It didn't give the sort of, sometimes you get like very few valid setups in Pogo, and that's okay, but you still get the same success rate, okay? So often that happens. Very few setups that are valid, but the same sort of success rate. We had a situation last month where there was limited setups for Pogo, limited setups for Pogo. Not too many, but there was enough. But the success rate was lower than it has been before that I've ever noticed. Okay, so I think it worked out at about 65 or 68%, I think it was, something along those lines. 68, that's it, 68%. So that's still not bad, but I mean, obviously it's quite substantially lower than the norm of 83-84%. Okay, so my strategy for trading Pogo this month is that, similar to how you hear me speak about the market and Bugsy, I want the market to show me that it's back up and running again and happy days with Pogo. So Pogo's been I see it as like being like me, having a little nasty cold, and is not at top performance. So therefore, let him heal for a while, and let the market show us that he is in actual fact healed. Okay, so that is going to be impacting my decisions on trading Pogo for the next couple of weeks. That makes sense? Give me a yes if that makes sense. I will show you what I mean in a moment. But first of all, let me know in the chat box, say yes if that makes sense. If it does not make sense, let me know. Okay. Okay. So Tony, you're not committing. You're saying okay. All right. No worries. Right, so we got a few perfect sense and yes. Okay, all right. Preserve capital above all, 100%, absolutely 100%. Now the upside of it is, and again, this is not unusual, that when you get really good, when you get like Pogo not doing so well or being rather average, generally speaking, Bugsy is really, really good. And we had that classic example last month. Bugsy was on fire. All right, really was. Now, on any given month, and I've said this several times before, on any given month, it is extremely wise for you to suss out the performance in the market for Pogo and Bugsy. And if there are like 3 times as many opportunities in Bugsies than there are Pogos, or 4 times as many, or whatever it is, yeah, thereabouts. You don't have to be exact, but thereabouts. So that's the sense you're getting. Then that should be reflected in your trades. You should have like quite 3 or 4 more Bugsy trades that you've taken than Pogo. Makes sense. There's something awry with your trade selection if Pogo is rather stunted and Bugsy is flying, but most of your trades are Pogo, right? That makes sense. So certainly last month, if you looked at your trades last month, most of them should have been, everyone here has Bugsy and Pogo. It should have actually been more Bugsies than Pogo. Now Bugsy was very successful, had a very high success rate last month as well. Anyway, so I want to actually speak to you now about what do I mean and how do I actually, how does it play out, the fact that I'm going to ask the market to prove to me that it's right for Pogo again. And like we have Aussie dollar. Sorry, I'm messing around with it here. Okay, there we are, back to normal. Here we have Aussie dollar. Now we have, was uptrending for a while. It's turned around and now confirmed downtrend with the EMAs in the opposite direction. Now confirmed downtrend, but we've only got 1 cycle, so we wouldn't be looking to trade that anyway. Okay, so that's fine. So it's not even on the list. However, Euro USD, you can see that it has been uptrending for a while. We have 2 cycles to the downside. Typically, this would be a setup. Well, not that actually. This one would be a setup, right? But I'm actually going to wait. I want some more confirmation that this is a trend change because of the indecision for Pogo last month. Now, it's just a blip. It doesn't mean Pogo's finished or anything like that. Please do not get that into your head. It's a blip. It's just a market reacting differently. It was more momentum-based than it was cyclicity-based last month, right? So it's been going for a while, and I want to know that this is actually a trend. Typically, normally, and in terms of valid setups at the end of the month in the club for the monthly analysis, I will put this as a valid setup, okay? But for me, to select a trade, I want the market to prove to me that Pogo's back up and running with its normal success rate, okay? If that means I miss a few trades, well, so be it. I'm okay with that, because number 1 above everything else for me is capital preservation, 100%. I'd rather be out of the market than in the market hoping for the best, okay? There's not a bone in my body that has any compunction or compelling drive to gamble. I want to be certain. I want to make sure that all possible probabilities are stacked in my favor. So for me, I will leave this. So therefore, I'm not putting this on the watch list, okay? So that's my own personal view. That said, you know, it is a valid. What would it be doing? So it's not given a second alert as yet. All right, for cable, there's nothing. Okay, here we have Kiwi dollar, and you can see that there's been like quite considerable upward momentum for a while, and now it has turned around. It has given a couple of cycles, but again, it's given 1, 2, 3 cycles, and again, this is valid. 100% valid at the end of the month. I'll have it as a valid setup, but I am not taking it. I want the market to prove to me this is a change in trend. Guys, does that make 100% sense to you? I'm only looking at what the market is telling me. The market told me that Pogo was a little bit sniffly last month. So I want Pogo to be healed, right? Because if I continue trading Pogo, like it normally does, I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that some miraculous way because of a date change, Pogo will be all up and running again, doing what it normally does. I don't want any form of hope in my trading. I want it to be, I want the market to show me that that's what it's doing, that it's doing what Pogo normally does. Okay, this is vital. When will I know, Anthony? When I go back and review, I go back and review it. So here's what I will do on my watch list, okay? I'll put Kiwi dollar on my watch list and I'll say, do not take. But what I do on my watch list, I say why I'm not taking it, but I always go back and then find out what happened and I'll keep note of that. And then when I say, it's like I said a while ago about Aussie dollar, what I've noticed is that a higher percentage of my losing trades over the past number of months have been Aussie dollar. And I went back and examined it and saw that it was somewhat erratic. And it did not like the one in December where it gave a second opportunity to go in and take. That was perfect, that was okay. But it was erratic and didn't really give a valid, nice second setup. So I decided, you may recall from the live streams, somewhere mid-December, I'm not going to trade Aussie dollar until it shows me it's up and running with a high success rate again. So I just go back over and I'll see, it might take me a couple of weeks, it might take me 3 weeks, it might take me a whole month. And then at the end of the month, I'll see, well, what was the success rate? Okay, does that make sense? It doesn't matter, we've got another strategy to fall back on, it's not a problem. Great chart. Sorry, Anthony, I'm just trying to read your comment here. So we've got either 3 small cycles to the downside on Kiwi dollar, I presume you mean. One huge phase or one huge phase 2 in an uptrend. How do we know? 100%. 100%. Now, normally, this is way more than enough evidence for us to take Pogo short, normally. And yes, you're right. Occasionally, when the valid setups like this lose, it's a deep phase 2. So it's a deep phase 2, and you get stopped out, and it continues the upside. But that doesn't matter because it has a high success rate. Anyway, it's one of those that just loses, right? But in the case that where we've just come through in the last month where it had a lower success rate than normal, I want the market to prove to me. So therefore, I want some pretty decent evidence of a change in trend. Looking at this, look at the history. It's been uptrending since early November, okay, and it turned around here just last week. See what I'm saying? So you've got, is that a trend change or is it a deep phase 2? Considering the last month's performance, I want the market to show me what it is, because that's very unusual. What we had last month is very unusual. Does that answer your question, Anthony? Let me know if that answers your question. Perfect. Cool bananas. Okay, I let the market tell you what to do. Always, always. The more you are conscious about that, the more that is front and foremost in your mind at all times. Let the market tell you, the less that you're going to be projecting your own stuff onto the market, your own beliefs, your own prejudices, your own hopes, desires, fears even, all right? So it's very important. The more you're consciously aware of letting the market speak to you, the less you're giving it time to do that. No ego. There's no ego. There's no ego. There's Tony, your comment, leave it for a month, etc. Leave it. I don't even say leave it for a month. I just say let the market show me. Because if I say leave it for a month, I'm already injecting a belief that it's not going to be right for a month, right? It's going to take a month or whatever. I don't know. None of us know. So pay the market the respect it has earned the right for, and let it talk to you, let it tell you. The more you are enormously conscious of that, the less you will be finding that you're projecting your own beliefs onto the market. Okay, you're allowing, because that way as well, if you have a tendency to need to be right, that way as well, if you have that tendency of needing to be right, and there's a couple of people here who do have a little bit of that, you're not putting yourself in that situation where you need to be right, okay? Because you're asking the market. So that doesn't come into play. Interesting, you know, how I would call that is an interesting mind hack, okay? And you know, and I think that's very powerful. Okay, same with USD CAD. We have upward. We're a couple of cycles to the upside. We've got confirmation with the EMA's change, but you've got this massive momentum to the downside that's been going for a while. So same situation as Kiwi dollar. I want the market to show me that it is an actual fact going to be trending onwards, okay? All right, obviously USD Swiss, there's nothing. USD yen, I see Larry took this. For me, it was too soon. Larry, he's not here, he's not in the club, but this would have been too soon, this for me. That's why it wasn't on my list this morning. But hey, what Larry has done. Oh my gosh, I was talking to him over the weekend. Larry, I'm going to get him on for a webinar, guys, to share, not necessarily, you know, if he wants to share it, that's fine, but not what he's done, but how the impact it has had on his trading by making the decision to own the strategy. He has 100% owned the strategy, and he talks to me about when he talks to me about trading Bugsy, it's his strategy. And he's got a couple of things that he does, and he's making target week after week after. His targets are weekly based. He's doing so well, and he's not massive. His targets are small, but that doesn't matter. They're his targets, and they work for him. So, and that's the important thing. It works for him, and I honestly believe that the reason for it is that he 100% owns the strategy. So for him, this worked because of the way in which he has elected to trade Bugsy. So, so USD yen, yeah. Now I would put, now I would put Bugsy alert on it. It's sort of broken out, so definitely USD yen. I put Bugsy alert on that. Okay. What have we got here? Euro AUD, it's not trending. Leave it. Euro CAD, nothing. Euro Swiss, also leave it. Euro Swiss needs to make a lower low before I would even look at it. And Euro Pound, nothing. Euro Kiwi, nothing. Pound Oz, again, nothing. You see here, you had some nice cycling to the upside. But now it's gone down. Well, pound is not that easy to trade right now anyway, so. Pound CAD, nothing. Pound Swiss, nothing. And pound Kiwi, nothing. Aussie yen, looks like some really nice momentum, but I want some more trend before I would look at Bugsy for this. And CAD yen, I'll put Bugsy alerter. CAD yen, Bugsy alerter. That was an opportunity there. That would be the sort of first one I would take on this run. So I'll put Bugsy alerter on there, and Swiss yen as well. Swiss JPY. Now, some people said they didn't get this second alert on this one. It definitely went across. I got alerts on this. So there's no judgment at all. And this, I'm not sure if I got this question, understood this question correctly or not. I think it was in the Skype group. Something about the extent of which it crossed over. I don't worry about that. If it's crossed over, it's crossed over. That's it. The only thing I would be concerned about is if it was like, oh man, stop it now. If the crossover happened, and we had something like that going on, I might be a bit concerned about that, but we don't have that here. It's down, crosses over, and then it takes off. Does that make sense? So hopefully that makes sense, guys. If not, let me know if you've got a question about that. But I put Bugsy Alerter on again. So here's the things for the new guys. We encourage stalking an instrument. We'll go more on this on the Pogo 101 webinar on Wednesday, okay? We talk about stalking an instrument, especially Bugsy, because generally speaking, when you've got trend and you've got momentum, really nice momentum, price is likely to come back and interact with the aid a couple of times. So therefore, in a day or over a 48-hour period, you could actually get in 2 to 3 times on a Bugsy, and in those 2 to 3 trades, make close to your target, especially if you're using them with Trade Manager. Well, depending on how you use Trade Manager. So as soon as your trade executes, when you think there's going to be, it's going to run, it looks like momentum, as soon as your Bugsy trade executes, straight away put Bugsy Alerter back onto the chart. Don't wait for the next day to do your watch list to see if there was another opportunity, because you'll often find that 8 hours, 9, 10 hours later, that could well be another opportunity. So make that something that you do. It's a really good trick. Euro yen, a bit like USD yen. I would like to see a little bit more trend before I would actually take this, to be honest with you. This is a bit like USD yen was this morning. USD looks like it's got more trend in it now, but I would leave this, personally, I would leave it. Pound yen, I wouldn't do anything with. Same with Kiwi yen, I'm not going to do anything with. So here, actually, we had one cycle. There was a second cycle, and then it's gone back up. You see, this is what I'm talking about with Kiwi dollar. You've got this going upwards since, how long has this been going up? Early November as well. Then it went short, came back up one cycle and the second cycle, but then it's now, EMAs have come back to go long. Do you see what I'm saying? Is that what Kiwi dollar is going to do? And normally, guys, we wouldn't even worry about that. Second cycle, put Pogo on. If it loses, no big deal, because it's got a high success rate. We wouldn't worry about it. But now, knowing what we know now from last month, we want to just check. Now here, this is an exact scenario that I'm actually talking about. This would be the bar that I would be interested in if there hadn't broken trend, obviously. Obviously, guys, if it hadn't broken trend, that would be the bar that I would be interested in. But it's gone to the upside. Okay, Aussie CAD. Nothing on Aussie CAD. We need another cycle. Aussie Swiss. Nothing. So it gave an opportunity there. I just want to check something here while I'm at it. Move that out of the way. So that would have lost, yeah. I would imagine that lost. Yeah, well, did, big time. Okay, so there's the opportunity. Now the question is, this is typical to what happened to Aussie dollar. You've got one cycle. Let's assume this was the second cycle. It's only the first cycle. So this is the hypothetical situation. There's the first cycle. If this was the second cycle, that trade actually lost, but it came back into a deeper phase 2 and respecting the 50. The question is, will you take that again? That's something you need to bear in mind, something you need to have rules about. You will absolutely not do that in this scenario, guys, because there's only one cycle, okay? But if it was trending and it was a second cycle, even though it has like 1, 2 mini cycles to the upside, if it's the second cycle or more, it's still downtrending. EMAs are still in the order for a short. Make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. For the new guys, this is sort of newish information. Let me know if you're still with me and if that makes sense. We had it with Aussie dollar just before Christmas, I think it was as well, where the first, it was valid for Pogo. The first one lost and it went retraced to a deeper phase 2, and people, you could have taken that and made a really good return. Make sense? Okay. Hold on a second. Cool. Okay, so I'll wait for, yeah, I'm not going to wait for Aussie Kiwi. CAD Swiss, nothing. Kiwi CAD, nothing. Kiwi Swiss, nothing. And USD Singapore dollar. Again, that looks like it's heading back down to the side. So it looked like it was going up. The EMA is just about crossed to the upside, but now they've come down again. So we need to wait for it to make a lower low before we'll be interested in that. But it might well actually give us some momentum for Bugsy, but I'm going to wait and see what that does for tomorrow. Okay, so that's all we have, really. Oh, hold on, gold. Okay, if you're not already in gold, don't get into gold. Has it? It probably lost this morning, if anyone was in that gold trade. So there's nothing to be got from gold right now. So we just have 3: USD yen, Bugsy Alerter, CAD yen, and Swiss yen. That's it. Yeah, a few people would have got caught out on that last month, Cheryl. Cheryl says, I think that's what I got caught out with, change in direction or second phase. A few people would have got caught out in that last one. It's always going to happen, Cheryl, always going to happen. That's generally speaking why valid pogos will lose. But normally they don't happen as often as they did happen last month. And I think the interesting thing is the sooner you're aware of that in the month, the quicker you will not trade Pogo, or you will adjust, or you'll wait for the market to prove to you that it has the likelihood, higher likelihood of actually doing what it's suggesting it will do, right? So hopefully that makes sense. But it's Monday after NFP. It's always a bit slower. So let's just see what actually unfolds for the rest of the week. Cool. Am I going to see you guys later? Cool. Yep, that will definitely be on this week. Sorry, I had to postpone it last week. I could barely talk. It'll definitely be on Wednesday, Andre. Definitely. And I've got a webinar tonight about the wealth building with Judy V if you are interested in coming up. Okay, guys, take care. Have a wonderful afternoon. Chat to you guys later.